Okay, so like my outfit right now, I am a little bit of a mess today. So I originally wasn't even going to talk about the CW Powerpuff Girls reboot until they'd released some kind of official trailer. I did the same thing with Fate the Winx saga, because by the time an official trailer has been released, there's usually enough combined material via teasers or social media links to create a complete video on. But now, after the release of the leaked script, some places are reporting that the show is still going, while others are reporting that the CW has passed on it. And I'm not exactly sure which sources I should believe. For example, it was reported a while ago that the Netflix adaptation of Avatar: The Last Airbender was cancelled after the two original creators bowed out of the show, but later it was also then reported that the show is still going without the two creators. So I don't know, like, when people are reporting that a show is cancelled because of the Netflix Avatar: The Last Airbender adaptation, I have like trust issues when they say a show is cancelled, because is it really cancelled? So I figured I'd make a video summarizing everything we know about the CW Powerpuff Girls show so far. So the title of the show was simply Powerpuff, and it followed the three titular Powerpuff Girls, now as adults dealing with the trauma of having had their childhood stolen from them due to being crime fighters. I've heard a couple comparisons made to the Umbrella Academy, because the Umbrella Academy basically has the same premise, and as somebody who has read the original comic series but hasn't seen the Netflix adaptation, I would agree. I actually am kind of pleasantly surprised that for the CW adaptation, they are aging up the Powerpuff Girls to just be full-blown young adults as opposed to aging them up to, say, like high school. The CW has always loved dealing with kind of more salacious topics like sex, drugs, and drinking with high schoolers. And with a lot of these shows depicting teenagers doing these kind of activities, I always get a weird sense of voyeurism from the shows. And also because all of the main actresses are adults, you don't have the complaint, like again in Fate the Winx saga, of people complaining that these 30-year-olds are pretending to be teenagers because they're portraying adults. Speaking of the main actresses, we have Chloe Bennet as Blossom, Dove Cameron as Bubbles, and Yana Perrault as Buttercup. Rounding out the supporting cast, we have Donald Faison as Professor Utonium, Nicholas Podany as Mojo Jojo, Robin Lively as Sarah Bellum, and Tom Kenny as the narrator. Yay! Fun fact, while Tom Kenny was the narrator in the original series, he was also the voice of the mayor! I mentioned this because in the original series, when he would voice the mayor, you'd start to hear a little bit of SpongeBob come through.
Yes, Mayor?
The Powerpuff Girls, the city's being devoured, and whatever it is, it's very close. It's in the office.
What?
Okay, now there's a giant claw. It's very big and it's snapping.
Hold tight, Mayor. We're on our way.
Okay, I'll...
Anyways, great actor, glad they're bringing him back for this. So pretty much all of the leaks for this show have happened on Twitter, which I do not use, so my retelling of the events might not be completely in order just because I didn't really see them happen in order. But the first thing I remember seeing about the show after it was announced was the leaked set photos of them filming the pilot. It's the pictures of Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup kind of in their iconic cartoon accurate costumes, if you can really say that. The original design of the girls are so cartoonish, simplistic, and almost abstract, to the point that any kind of translation into live action would have been awkward. Like, the Powerpuff Girls was very big when I was growing up, and I remember several people I knew trying to do like a DIY Powerpuff Girls Halloween costume. I'm pretty sure even like the official Halloween costumes for kids they sold at the time pretty much just looked like this. So yeah, if they're gonna translate the costumes into live action, it's gonna look a little wonky. So I'm actually surprised the CW didn't try to deviate away from the original design and do something more grounded, I guess the term is. Like, when I heard that the CW was doing a Powerpuff Girls adaptation, I imagined their superhero costumes to be more like toned down, color coordinated, full body suits, kind of like what the girls in Totally Spies have, or even what Chloe Bennet wears as Quake. And while that design change would take away kind of the more feminine dresses that the girls are known for wearing, I feel like the full body suits would fit more in with CW's overall design philosophy when it comes to superhero costumes. However, just thinking about the premise of this Powerpuff Girls adaptation, I can understand why they would keep the traditional dresses. I think they would want to contrast kind of the girlish innocence of their childhood versus what I assume is kind of a grungy, realistic adulthood. So, I have a feeling this is what a lot of you have been waiting for. The next thing to leak was the script. It could possibly be that one teaser image released before the script, but the next thing I remember hearing about was the script. So the actual script itself has been copyright struck already a few times, both on Twitter and here on YouTube, so I'm not going to be showing any of the script on screen. Also, according to an article by Out.com that released right as I was filming this, the CW CEO has announced that the show is going to be retooled and reshot next year. So the show is in theory still coming as of right now-ish. Like I said, after the Avatar: The Last Airbender Netflix adaptation, I have trust issues about whether they say a show is coming or it's canceled or it's not. But I do have the script with me. So yeah, I thought I'd do a live read-through for you guys. I know my live read-through of unreleased script skills is not going to match, like, say, like Jenny Nicholson's read-throughs of the Star Wars unreleased scripts from Colin Trevorrow, and then there was like one more. But no, I could never reach her skill level. Like, I don't have multiple hats or costume changes. Although I am a very big Powerpuff Girls fan, I do still have a lot of Powerpuff Girls merch from when I was a kid. Like, this is the window of my childhood bedroom. These stickers have been on here since at least 2003. They're all faded by the sun. You can like barely make them out anymore. Also, I have this old Buttercup balloon I like won at the Cherry Blossom Festival in San Francisco like years ago. Like, this balloon is dated circa 2000. I did not try to re-blow this up. This is just air that has somehow still remained in this balloon for God knows how many years. So yes, I'm a pretty big Powerpuff Girls fan, so I feel I'm at least somewhat qualified to do a live reading of this script. Okay, so I have it pulled up. Here we go. Exterior, big, blue endless sky, day, 2003, over a blue sky filled with cotton candy clouds. Once upon a time, in the early 2000s, there were 3 extraordinary sisters who were destined to save the world. Definitely nitpicking here, but it's weird that the narrator says once upon a time and not in the city of Townsville. Blossom Utonium 7 soars up into frame. Blossom can fly, and effortlessly, even in the impractical pink dress she wears. So if the girls are 7, I imagine this is like, if we're talking about canonically, I guess, this happens somewhere in between the original show where they're kindergartners and the reboot from 2016, 2017, where they're in middle school. I'm assuming this is a flashback sequence, so because they're like still supposed to be kids, I'm gonna try to be like imitating the voices from the original cartoon because that's what I'm most familiar with. Blossom. Come on, guys! He's getting away! Blossom was the leader, the go-getter, the goody-goody. Buttercup Utonium flies up next to her sister. She's a scrappy, scowling tomboy wearing a green dress.
Come on, guys, he's getting away.
Please, we always catch them. Buttercup was the tough one, the hard ass, if you'll pardon the idiom. Tom Kenny really has to say that? Buttercup zooms off, a green blur. Bubbles Utonium in a blue dress, pigtails, and adorable smile rises up beside Blossom.
I spy a camera crew. We're gonna be on TV tonight. Woot!
Let's focus on finishing the job and protecting our city.
Well, don't forget to smile. Daddy says our image is as important as our efficacy.
What? I imagine because, like I said, I'm pretty sure this is a flashback sequence and they're probably gonna be having like child actors play the younger versions of the kids. I don't imagine it's the adult actors yet. Are you really gonna make a kid? Say it with me now, 7-year-old child actor. Efficacy. Efficacy. To be fair, for example, the child actors in We Could Be Heroes were really impressive, so I'm not saying a child actor couldn't do it, but it's kind of a big ask. She grins, touching her dimples with her index fingers. And Bubbles was the sweet, upbeat, and cheerful one, most of the time. Title, Powerpuff Girls. Okay, so it's not Powerpuff, it's Powerpuff Girls, or maybe they changed the working title later. The 3 girls dip down together, diving towards a marauding 3-headed Pegasus monster, big as a building, wreaking havoc on the city. We only see it briefly, don't worry. don't worry, is that it's always interesting when you see particularly TV scripts that, or even just regular scripts that like, because everybody has a different style, particularly in the prose. I'm assuming the don't worry in parentheses is for the special effects people. So it's like, don't worry, like you don't have to spend $1 million making a three-headed Pegasus monster. Buttercup.
Time to kick some beast!
She bursts ahead of them, hooking swiftly around a welcome billboard that reads, "The City of Townsville, home of the Powerpuff Girls." It bears cartoon likenesses of the girls. Okay, so we're already getting some fan service. A triptych of brief action shots. Buttercup punching the beast, Bubbles stunning it with her ice breath, Blossom tying it up. Townsville cheers them on. The girls take a bow. A triptych? I mean, it's not like people have to see this, but couldn't you just say montage? Narrator in voiceover. These exceptional girls were not born, but created by the brilliant Professor Drake Utonium. Interior, Professor Utonium's lab, day. 1996, 7 years earlier. Drake Utonium, a debonair scientist in his 30s, toils in the lab surrounded by mysterious equipment and colorful compounds. There's an explosion of light, red, blue, and green, as new life blooms from a pipette. He had long dreamed of being a father, but his grandiosity prevented him from pursuing this goal in the usual manner. Drake didn't just want children, he wanted... Drake lifts the tinted lab goggles off his face, astonished. Drake. Phenomena. Above him, in the magic fogged air, we see the silhouettes of the hovering, newly made Powerpuff Girls. Drake turns to his gawky, cowering lab partner, Dr. Joseph Mojo Mondale. Mojo claps, though he looks a bit uncertain. So wait, is Mojo Jojo human? I mean, I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised. Mojo Jojo was always going to be a difficult hurdle in adapting to live action because not only is his appearance and his speech pattern very campy and cartoony, doing a gorilla in live action was also going to be a huge special effects cost, but he's also the most iconic, recognizable villain from the series, so it's not like in The Flash where you can wait a couple seasons to do Gorilla Grodd when you have the budget to do it, but it does look like they are staying faithful to the cartoon's origin story of Mojo Jojo, at least somewhat, considering he's not a monkey anymore. In the Powerpuff Girls theatrical movie, which I don't think a lot of people are aware of, they basically invented a origin story for Mojo Jojo in that he was Professor Utonium's lab monkey before he created the Powerpuff Girls. But Mojo gets super jealous when Professor Utonium creates the Powerpuff Girls, and so he gets the Chemical X and uses that to get that like super big brain he has in the main show. This is basically an origin story that the cartoon created for the movie and then just completely forgot about, because actually, if memory serves, the poor performance of the Powerpuff Girls movie at the box office is actually what got the show canceled. So anyways, back to the script. Should I be doing the Mojo Jojo voice for Mojo? I kind of feel like I should, but I should. Looking ahead to some of his later lines, he has very few of them, but it doesn't look like Mojo Jojo is talking in kind of that iconic Mojo Jojo cadence, but I think I'm gonna twist. I'm gonna try to interpret it in the most Mojo Jojo way possible, just for comedy. Congrats, you did it. I couldn't have done it without you, Mojo. Interior, Professor Utonium's house, kitchen, evening. The girls, the professor, and the professor's girlfriend, Cerebellum, 30s, a redhead with kind eyes. Oh, we get to see Miss Bellum's eyes. Of course we do with live action, but still. Enjoy a cozy, laughter-filled dinner. Narrator. For years, all was well in the Utonium household. The sisters were the best of friends. Drake was a proud papa. His girlfriend, Sarah, had become like part of the family. Off this warm scene, we cut to, exterior, First Bank of Townsville, dusk. A crowd cheering as the girls descend on villain Fuzzy Lumpkins and snatch bags of cash from his clutches. Oh, we don't... Fuzzy Lumpkins and him, I think, are the two villains I don't think they can really do in... Forget live action, just period. Although, if you did it right, which based on how much of the, oh my god, we're only 3 pages in, but based on how much of the script I've seen, so I don't know if I trust these showrunners to do it right, but I wouldn't mind if they did it right, to see like a him redemption arc. Fuzzy Lumpkins I don't care about as much, like all I need is just like the iconic, get off of my property, and then we're good. Narrator, voiceover. The girls were beloved heroes in Townsville, a city mysteriously besieged by villainous creatures and crooks. Where the police had failed, the Powerpuff Girls were triumphant. Everyone looked up as the Powerpuff Girls began performing an adorable synchronized dance routine in mid-air. Drake turns to a news camera filming the spectacle, pumping his fist. Girl power. Interior, Joseph Mojo Mondale's house. Same. Reveal Mojo watching the spectacle on television in his dim, depressing den. Narrator, voiceover. Dr. Joseph Mojo Mondale was not so delighted with the Powerpuff Girls. He resented their celebrity, especially since he'd helped Drake discover Chemical X, the mutagenic substance that gave the girls their powers. But Drake, wrapped up in the limelight, seemed to have forgotten about their decade-long partnership. Mojo turns off the TV. He walks to the window. He'd hoped to use the chemical to gain powers himself, powers he'd use for good. But what use would it be now? Mojo wasn't cute. He didn't have sugar, or spice, or anything nice. He was just a plain, old, boring man. Man, Tom Kenny is doing a lot of heavy lifting in this first part. As Mojo gazes out the window, we see 3 glittery streaks of color appear in sky. Red, green, and blue. It's the girls. We swear we even hear a giggle. A boy runs up from behind, nose pressed against the glass. This is Mojo's son, Jojo. Okay, so Mojo Jojo was kind of like a father figure to the Rowdy Rough Boys, but I don't remember him having like a biological son of his own. Jojo.
Dad, were those the Powerpuff Girls? I wish I could fly. They're all so cool. Especially Blossom.
Off Mojo stewing. Interior, Professor Utonium's house, den, day. The girls and Drake watch a live news broadcast. Mojo stands at a podium at a televised rally. This Citron. Underneath reads, Concerned Scientist Holds Anti-Powerpuff Rally. Mojo on TV. I worked with the professor for years. Believe me when I tell you, he's power-hungry and duplicitous. He stole Chemical X from me. I know the Powerpuffs are protecting us from monsters, but who will protect us from the Powerpuff Girls? Blossom. But we'd never. Drake. He's a sad, bitter man. Don't worry, you're more popular than ever. Narrator, voiceover. Drake was right. The girls had a national fan club, licensed merch, even their own cartoon. But Mojo wasn't their only enemy. They were about to face an evil far more formidable, a force that's defeated innumerable gifted children. Puberty. Okay. Interior, Professor Utonium's house, early morning, 2013. A siren blares. Buttercup, Bubbles, and Blossom, now teenagers, shuffle out the front door, suited for combat in their iconic dresses. They look sullen and reluctant. Bubbles. Sunglasses, hungover. I'm assuming now that they're teenagers that they're going to be played by the adult actors. Oh, I could be wrong. But by this point, I'm switching out of the cartoon voices. I'm vaguely familiar with what all the actresses sound like, so I'm going to try to do my best. Are we fighting Swampy again? Who has the brief? Drake pops out the house, followed by Sarah. Bubbles? Wait, where are your pigtails? You have to stick to the character Bible. She's not a character, Drake. You know that? I know that, which is why I've allowed her to select 2 outside friends and unlimited after homeschool activities. Buttercup, I don't appreciate that look on your face right now. Can you blame her? She's 17 and she's up at the butt crack of dawn to fight a talking swamp. Sarah, as always, I appreciate your concern for my family, but you're not part of it. Jesus! Before the girls can begin to defend Sarah, Blossom pipes up. Guys, we have to go. Townsville needs us. Blossom takes off into the sky. The other girls follow suit reluctantly. Sarah stares at Drake, hurt, turns and walks away. Miss Bellum deserves better than that. Exterior, City of Townsville Day. Bubbles, Blossom, and Buttercup battle Swampy. It's way more effortful than it should be, when suddenly a laser beam grazes Swampy and almost hits Blossom. Reveal, a giant robot. being operated by Mojo, a lab monkey by his side. Mojo's voice bellows from a megaphone. Stop the Powerpuff Girls! In Mojo's lab, a now teenage JoJo co-pilots his father via a control panel monitor. He's holding a Blossom action figure. It's a teenager, but he's got action. Okay. Dad, easy on Blossom, remember? I got this, JoJo. Is Mojo being played by Nicholas Podeni? Is he playing Mojo or JoJo? Because in this, Mojo JoJo is supposed to be like Professor Utonium's like former lab partner and has a son. So if he's way too young for the role. But if he's playing JoJo, who is seems to be like this kind of awkward creeper simp, I don't know, that would actually make more sense, because he could be like, nerdy, geeky, awkward, has a crush on Blossom, but of course they take off the glasses and give him hair gel and he's suddenly hot. But also, like, the CW likes to cast parents to be like ridiculously young, so I honestly don't know which one he's playing. JoJo. Dad, easy on Blossom, remember? I got this, JoJo. Back on. The girls trying to subdue Swampy as few anti-Powerpuff protesters gather below. One throws a Slurpee. Buttercup goes red hot and flies up to the jackass. Buttercup. I will honestly end you. The people cower in fear as Mojo blasts at Blossom again. Guys, a little help? We're working on it. Mojo blasts another laser at Swampy, hitting him in the arm and the building behind him. Concrete debris rains down. Blossom catches the falling pieces in both arms, looking to her sisters for help, but hungover Bubbles can barely handle Swampy and Buttercup's fighting with protesters. Desperate, Blossom kicks a third piece of debris out of the air, but it ricochets a lamppost, exploding it into fragments. This sounds really cartoony. Mojo's robot is riddled with shrapnel as it falls to the ground. In Mojo's lab, JoJo is speechless. His eyes water. Oh, shit! JoJo. Dad? Above the robot. Blossom sees blood on the inside panel. Blossom and Buttercup join her. Blossom sees blood on the inside panel. Blossom and Buttercup join her. I think they meant to say Bubbles. Blossom begins to hyperventilate, having a full-blown panic attack. Wow. Interior newsroom day. Sorry, I don't mean to be making fun of panic attacks. Like, I have panic attacks. The tonal shift. You're going straight from, like, holding giant pieces of concrete and fighting a swamp monster to panic attacks. Whiplash. Interior newsroom day. A newscaster sits beside the news banner. A Townsville divided. Newscaster. In the wake of Mojo's death, a once fringe group of anti-Powerpuff Girl activists have gained massive popularity in Townsville. Their goal? To banish the Powerpuff Girls. The news cuts to footage of the mayor holding a press conference surrounded by angry anti-Powerpuff protesters. Due to public safety concerns, the Powerpuff Girls have been outlawed from fighting in Townsville. The protesters cheer wildly as... Interior, Professor Utonium's house TV room. Day. Bubbles and Buttercup watch on TV under a blanket together. I better check on Blossom. This sounds like the episode of Powerpuff Girls where him changes the world so like everybody hates the Powerpuff Girls. I don't quite remember what the sequence of events was in that episode, but it's very much reminding me of this kind of same sequence where like it's like seems at first they made a big mistake, but then it's revealed it's really like him pulling the strings. I don't think that's what's actually happening here. I think this is like a real thing that happened, but like the sequence of events is very reminiscent of that episode. Interior, Professor Utonium's house. Blossom's room. Day. Buttercup enters Blossom's room. Bloss? The bed is empty and made. Empty drawers are open. Exterior, gray sky. Day. See a tear-stained Blossom flying as fast as she can through an overcast sky, a suitcase strapped to her back. Exterior, Professor Utonium's house. Same. A now furious Buttercup bursts angrily out the front door and is immediately swarmed by news cameras. Bleep you all and bleep Townsville! The Powerpuff Girls are done! End of teaser. So I guess that was would be like I don't know, the 4-minute teaser, 7 minutes, I guess, because it's 7 pages, so about 7 minutes. They would, like, I don't know, like, post on YouTube or play on the CW. But it would also be, like, the intro to the pilot episode. Interesting. Act 1. Exterior, house day. Smoke billows from the first floor of a house. Narrator, voiceover. After Blossom ran away to build a new life for herself, Buttercup and Bubbles followed suit. On the second floor, a window opens. Adult Buttercup, wearing firefighter gear, leaps out the window with a little boy in her arms. They fly down 20 feet and land gently. Enraged by the ignoble end of the PPGs, it literally says PPGs in the script. It's not from me. Buttercup sought anonymity. She moved to a small town in Oregon, shortened her name to B, and joined the fire department. Little boy. I thought you guys used ladders. Buttercup. If anyone asks, I did. Exterior, Hollywood Boulevard. Night. Close up on a license plate. Bubbles 1, affixed to a baby blue Corvette. Adult Bubbles, still wearing her signature pigtails, pops the trunk. It's full of Powerpuff Girls merch and a price list. Selfies, $20, t-shirts, $30, selfie plus shirt, $45. Narrator, voiceover. Bubbles went to Hollywood, hoping to capitalize on what fame she had left. After 2 stints in rehab and 3 failed reality show pilots, she had pivoted to direct sales. Bubble announces herself to a pack of passing tourists. I'm Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls. The real Bubbles, unlike that Bobo knockoff Wonder Woman. So while this character evolution, if we can really even call it that, really doesn't make sense for Bubbles, it does make sense for actress Dove Cameron. This is basically a grown-up version of Liv from Liv and Maddie. Fake Wonder Woman, who looks really fake, turns and sticks her tongue out at Bubbles as the tourists flock to her. Interior, college lecture hall, day. Blossom sits in a lecture hall, taking notes. As for Blossom, she attended an elite women's college in the Northeast, collecting degrees to cocoon herself from the harsh sting of the real world. It was effective. Blossom notices a Powerpuff Girls tattoo on the bicep of one of her classmates. Narrator. Most of the time. 2021. Interior, Blossom's apartment, morning. Blossom joins her adorable boyfriend, Clive, for breakfast. Clive wears a birthday hat as Blossom enters the kitchen. He slips a happy birthday tiara on her head and grins. Is this Clive? Was that one of the Rowdy Rough Boys? No, this isn't, because the Rowdy Rough Boys were Brick, Boomer, and Butch, because they also had B names. Narrator, voiceover. After a decade of school, Blossom got a job at a Boston-era biotech firm, where she met her boyfriend Clive. This morning, they're celebrating her 25th birthday, which is technically tomorrow. But tomorrow, Blossom has some out-of-state business to attend to. Ding! A reminder text from Spirit Airlines pops up on Blossom's phone. Okay, this is weird. The Slurpee and now the Spirit Air. Are these product placements? That's funny that even as early as the script writing phase, they already had the product placements. It's time to check in for your flight to Townsville, departing tomorrow, 8 a.m. She shudders. I don't want to go to Townsville. Clive rubs her shoulder warmly as he pours her coffee. After this weekend, you never have to again. Once you sign that document and collect your trust fund, you're free. Besides, you've been so excited to see your sisters. Wow, Clive is doing just as much exposition as the narrator. Blossom. They probably still hate me. They talk all the time. Buttercup even went out to see Bubbles' one-woman show, Bubbles with a Chance of Bubbles. I've been a total ghost. Babe, you had a messed up childhood that culminated in a traumatic event. It's like your therapist says. You needed to go out and make your own way in the world, for the sake of your mental health. I hope I don't have a panic attack while I'm there. That's what Xanax is for. That and recreational use by guys with cool face tats. And if you do freak out, just do that exercise Dr. Pat taught you. Blossom nodding. Right, visualize my inner child. Okay, I can't tell if this is supposed to be like a serious scene or is it supposed to be a humorous scene that makes fun of like woke college students. Like, I legitimately can't tell based on the writing. She gazes into the middle distance, where her childhood self magically appears, waving at her reassuredly. Blossom. Thanks for being amazing, Clive. I love you. Ding! Another text, this time from Bubbles to both Buttercup and Blossom. It says, "Happy birthday Eve, my BBs! See you tomorrow!" Blossom, soothed by her conversation with Clive, grins and texts back, "Can't wait to see you guys. Seriously." After a beat, Buttercup texts, "Me 3, Clive." "It's gonna be super fun." Exterior, government building, to establish, day. Jojo, pre-lap. "Damn it, straight to hell, Gina!" And then interior mayor's office, day. Jojo, now also in his 20s, sits in a well-appointed office. A plaque on his desk reads, Jojo Model, Mayor of Townsville. He reads through a report in front of his secretary, Gina, 50. He has a pet monkey sitting on his desk. Gina: "This is just initial polling data. You've got time to pull ahead." Narrator: "Unlike our prodigal Powerpuffs, Mojo's son, Jojo, stayed in Townsville. Indeed, his loyalty and dedication to the city had carried him all the way to public office. He was the youngest person ever elected mayor of Townsville. Unfortunately for him, a second term looks unlikely. Jojo: "I've delivered on everything I promised, except free gelato Fridays, and that's only because the perfect scoop turned out to be a front for meth trafficking." Gina: "I miss their pistachio. Alessia Lawrence has no experience. She's impulsive and reactionary. She's exciting." "You mean she's not a white man?" No. "You know, you hear about reverse discrimination, but until it happens to you, no offense. You totally earned your position. Optics don't hurt, though." Yeah, I think they're trying to be funny. It's not hitting for me. I don't know, maybe I'm just not a good enough actor to deliver these lines, but... Gina: "Okay." Jojo, musing: "There is one thing people love more than virtue signaling, Gina. Frozen desserts of Italian origin? No. Security, safety, and I can provide that." Jojo feeds his monkey a treat. "With all due respect, Mr. Mayor, Townsville is a candy-colored bubble of privilege and comfort. Ever since the creature attack stopped, we're one of America's safest cities. I don't think people are voting from a place of fear." "What about my pet monkey? That was meaningful in the last election." "Post Harambe. No one cares anymore." "I need to read through all this. Go ahead and knock off for lunch. One more thing. The Powerpuff Girls are coming to town tomorrow." The color drains from Jojo's face. He's shaken. "Tomorrow? All 3? "Just for the weekend. The Gazette called asking for comment." "Tell Frank I said no comment. That'll be all." Gina nods, exits. As Jojo mulls all of this over, his monkey screeches. It gives Jojo an idea. He picks up his cell, pulls up a contact, short stack, hesitates for a moment, then dials. "Jojo, I need you." So Mojo Jojo's son as the mayor kind of reminds me of Pedro Pascal as Maxwell Lord in Wonder Woman 1984, but unfortunately, not in a good way. Exterior, Townsville Airport curb / Uber pickup, day. Buttercup exits with her duffel. We see Bubbles with her suite of luggage in line for an Uber. She's accompanied by a middle-aged guy with a camera. She spots Buttercup heading over. "Here she comes!" Start filming. "Buttercup! Happy birthday, bitch!" They hug happily until Buttercup notices the cameraman. "What's with Al Maisels over here? Does he work for Bravo?" I did not get that reference. Bubbles: "No, I'm making a tasteful doc about my comeback / solo career, which starts with capturing our reunion, which is kind of a big deal. Oh, and this is my manager, Ace." Ace: "Hey." Buttercup: "When you say reunion, to be clear, you mean our personal reunion, because I'm not..." Bubbles: "You're not interested in a reteam or a reboot of the Powerpuff Girls, I know, even though America would go ripshit bonkers for it." Ace: "They would." Buttercup affectionately strokes one of Bubbles' pigtails. Buttercup: "You haven't changed at all." Bubbles, winking: "Gotta stick to the character Bible." They smirk, but the looks they exchange are poignant. Okay. Interior, car, day. Bubbles, Buttercup, and Ace ride in the back of an Uber. Another product placement. I wasn't sure if that one was a product placement, because there are, designated spots for, Uber and Lyft pickup at airports, but yeah, this is definitely product placement. They pass the old Welcome to Townsville billboard, which now says, Jojo Modell, mayor, with a smiling photo of Jojo. So Mojo's son is the mayor now. Remember what a huge crush he had on Blossom? Weird kid. Hey, you know who we should go see while we're here? Sarah! She was always so great to us. Dad blew that one. Has he been dating lately, do you know? Just rando hookups. You know, science groupies, beaker bunnies, nearsighted hoes, mainly. Got it. The car turns onto their childhood street. Buttercup. I can't believe Blossom is coming. Probably only because Dad made it mandatory for us to access the trusts. What are you going to do with the money? Buy a little cabin, rescue a few schnoodles or doodles? I'm not a total cliche. I'm going to have chickens, too. Suddenly they look out the window, alarmed. What the fuzzy lumpkins? We see a mob of people gathered near the Powerpuff Girls' childhood home. Some are press, some carry signs that say things like, "No violence in Townsville." A scant few are fans. Dad alerted the press. Exterior, Professor Utonium's house, day. The sisters get out of the Uber. The small crowd surrounds them, yelling questions. Are you here to start trouble, etc. Buttercup. Is this a welcome wagon or a go-home wagon? Who cares? We're trending locally. Journalist. Are the Powerpuff Girls re-teaming? Hell no. I'm not capping for Townsville. I'm not caping for Townsville ever. I just knighted Buttercup with a gun. I'm not caping for Townsville ever again. I'm here to collect a debt, and then I'm out. Throttle down, boo. Your Chem X is showing. Who is this? Reveal a cute little girl standing by the front door. Yeah, this is Liv. This is Liv from Liv and Maddie. I'm sorry, this is not Bubbles. Henrietta.
Hello, I'm Henrietta. I'm a huge fan. Blossom is my favorite, but all of you are feminist icons.
Thank you, cutie.
Can I have a hug?
Bubble leans down to hug Henrietta. Buttercup notices a large furry caterpillar on Henrietta's shoulder, arcing up toward Bubbles' ear. She instinctively swats the caterpillar into the bushes. Henrietta bursts into tears in full panic. That was my pet Gloria! Yeah, like, Bubbles loves animals. Like, I know she had a particular thing for squirrels, but, like, she loved all animals. Like, this is Liv from Liv and Maddie. This is not Bubbles. I'm just gonna keep saying that. Buttercup begins to make an apology as, Daddy! Camera's shutters click as Drake opens the door to greet his daughters. Bubbles hugs him. Ace films. Girls! Buttercup strides past Drake inside the house. Interior, Professor Utonium's house. Same. As Drake shuts the door behind Buttercup and Bubbles. Dad, why'd you call the press? Blossom's gonna freak out, and the last thing we need is another crack in the bell jar.
Blossom's been doing fine.
She's emotionally fragile. Coming back here is probably triggering for her.
Why? Because she's the one who killed Mojo? I mean, moveon.org.
Outside of camera, we hear a chair squeak. It's Blossom, sitting in the kitchen table. Awkward. Ace turns to Drake, extends his hand. I can't believe that was in the prose. Awkward. Ace. I'm Ace, Virgo Management. Drake shakes his hand as Blossom rises to greet her sisters. Blossom fondly. Come here. Buttercup and Bubbles come in for a long, strong group hug. Drake watches them, pleased. Then he turns to Ace, who has temporarily lowered his camera to observe the reunion. You getting this? Interior, Powerpuff Girls' home, kitchen table, later. The sisters sit in a row on one side of the modern dining table. Drake sits on the other. Why are they calling him Drake and not Professor Utonium? Is it because they recast him as a... A gourmet dinner sits before them. The room is full of birthday balloons. Ace films. Drake. I can't believe you girls are 25. Wow. The 3 Bs. Back in town. I just said. And now he's talking like this. Like, Professor Utonium has a very distinct cadence. And, like, him being black now as a character, like, he can still, like, have, like, that really kind of stern, kind of stilted voice. Like, he's not suddenly, I don't know what's the, Like when they called like Idris Elba as James Bond Street, like just because they've recast Professor Utonium as black does not make him Street. I'm hating this even more. I don't think I've said it yet, but yeah, I hate the 3 Bs back in Townsville. I'm still just gonna use the Professor Utonium cadence. It'll be nice to catch up, huh? Blossom is looking at the red phone displayed in the living room. It's in a glass case, unplugged, like a museum piece. She starts downing a glass of red wine. Buttercup. Yes, and it will be nice to collect the money we earned from the sale of our childhoods. When do we sign? You loved being a Powerpuff Girl. Blossom, cutting in. It's not like we were given any alternative. Bloss, you would have chosen PPG no matter what. You were always the first one out the door when that alarm went off. I'm sure it's deactivated now. T-ville is as peaceful as any town USA, and by the looks of it, as boring and homogenous too. I counted 3 Paneras. Drake. Actually, I didn't want to bring this up yet, but I have a reason to believe that a darkness may be headed to Townsville. Buttercup. Hobby Lobby. Blossom nervous. Dad, you don't mean like Bubbles. Monsters? That was like a more original Bubbles than Dove Cameron. Oh well. Drake. I'm afraid I do. Blossom starts quietly freaking out, subtly hyperventilating. She's having a panic attack. Drake continued. I think the city may need the Powerpuff Girls again. Off Blossom, losing consciousness. Buttercup. Bloss? Interior. Henrietta's lair. Evening. In an apartment, we see Henrietta seated at a child-sized desk. Oh my... No! I don't think this is it, but if this is Princess Morbucks, I'm gonna be so happy. Like, Princess Morbucks for a live-action adaptation, I think would be the best villain, in my opinion. I'm not gonna get my hopes up, but I'm just saying. The song Glowworm plays in the background. She repairs the woolly bear caterpillar we saw Buttercup swat away earlier. It's not a caterpillar, it's a robot. Reveal, there are hundreds of such robot pillars crawling all over the room. Henrietta cranks the volume on her record player. Neighbor, out of sight. Hey, turn it down! Henrietta, sorry, Mr. Carthers. Henrietta pushes one of the woolly bears through a wall vent. Interior, apartment, directly below Night. Mr. Carthers, Henrietta's neighbor, 50s, watches UFC on his couch. The woolly bear emerges from his vent and traverses across the couch cushions before crawling into his ear. Mr. Carthers shakes his head at first, then quietly settles into his new normal, a strange yellow glint in his eyes. Glowworm continues to play faintly as we end Act 1. Okay, so it's kind of a combination of Princess Morbucks and like the broccoloids. That one episode where like eating broccoli turns you like literally into a vegetable. Well, not literally into a vegetable, but like it gives you that same yellow tint that they're describing, and it like kind of makes you complicit. Act 2. Interior, Powerpuff Girls' home, kitchen floor, later. Blossom's out cold. Bubbles and Buttercup hover over her. Buttercup. Bloss? Wake up, or we'll leak your nudes everywhere. Off Bubbles' confusion. That worked for you once. Bubbles nods, remembering, then thinks. Closes her eyes.
Grew up in a small town, and when the rain would fall down, I just stare out my window.
I can definitely imagine Dove Cameron doing this. Blossom. Please, not break away. Bubbles. It's working. Buttercup. Dream of what I'm really gonna do this. No, I'm gonna spare everybody. So yes, they sing Breakaway, and Blossom forcing herself up. Okay, I'm up. Buttercup, too late. More Breakaway. Jesus Christ. We've already got 2 song drops. I can't imagine how much the show is paying for in music royalties. The girls are interrupted by the Monster Mash. 3 now. I'm wondering what your license fees are. Monster Mash playing downstairs. Off their confusion. Interior, Powerpuff Girls' home, Drake's lab, Night. The sisters find Drake dancing in front of a PowerPoint, eating a Go-Gurt. They were really paying for this pilot with product placement, were they? He accidentally drips some on his shirt. Sorry, girls. I have a condition where if I see someone faint, I faint, so I had to grab some sugar. Now would you look at that? Take a seat, please. I made cocoa. Bubbles happily sits. Buttercup and Blossom take a beat. Buttercup, damn. Blossom, I do love that cocoa. Drake, and I love family time. Drake shuts the door with a remote as the girls sit. Buttercup, hey, Matt Lauer, the remote door thing is cancelled. On the PowerPoint, a graph with various squiggly lines. Drake, as you girls may or may not know, I've been monitoring supernatural evil activity here in Townsville ever since you left. Mostly it's a lot of dead ends and conspiracies. Until this morning, when I saw this. Drake pulls up a picture of a missing kitten posted on Nextdoor. Blossom squints. Buttercup rolls her eyes. Bubbles, so cute. I want it in a frame. Drake, sorry, wrong thread. Bear with me. Ah, here we are. Drake pulls up another Nextdoor thread. Oh my god. I'm currently reviewing all of the Marvel movies, and in the Iron Man, the first one, you can tell a lot of the budget was compensated with product placement, but this is another level. Is anyone else's internet fucked? With several complaints below. Buttercup, yeah, this makes a lot more sense. Drake, my dear Buttercup, it's not the what, but the why. I investigated, and the provider's not to blame. There's no explanation for why this cluster of people in a 2-block radius doesn't have working internet, except for a mysterious, unusual concentration of high-frequency technology nearby, suggesting evidence of a secret, evil laboratory. Bubbles gasped with excitement. The reach of the outage suggests some pretty heavy-duty tech, so I didn't want to get too close. Undermanned, or should I say, undergirled. Buttercup, you shouldn't. Blossom, so you want us to go see if there's an evil lab, based on a thread from Nextdoor, about spotty internet. Drake, Buttercup, and you're sure this evidence isn't something you staged in order to drum up a comeback for us? Drake, honey, you think I would lie to you? Buttercup, yes, you lie all the time. Blossom, remember when you let that colossal gopher out during sweeps? Drake, we were in a ratings hole. Okay, so it is confirmed that, like, Professor Utonium was just creating monsters for them to fight for publicity. Like, I knew they were gonna change Professor Utonium's character a little bit because, like, CW loves women with daddy issues. But, like, Professor Utonium was, like, one of the few examples of, like, a really good single dad. And, like, when we were still, like, just getting out of, like, the 90s trend of, like, the incompetent father. Let's just keep going. Buttercup, and we ended up in a literal hole created by a giant gopher who tried to kill us with a tree trunk. Drake, now that was good TV. Buttercup, okay, well, I'm gonna pass. Blossom, same. Drake pouts. Bubble stands up, turns to her sisters. Guys, how can you turn down an evil recon mission? Especially when said Mish would make a perfect storyline for my documentary, Bubbles is Back. Buttercup, not to be confused with your other film, Bubbles on Her Back. Bubbles, come on, it'd be fun. Plus, we haven't hung out in like a decade. I really miss us. Please. I feel like Blossom has like the 50-year-olds writing woke teenagers or woke college students problem. Buttercup has the most grounded dialogue out of everyone, and Bubbles just sounds like she's come out of a Disney Channel sitcom. Buttercup's warmed by this sentiment but plays it cool. Buttercup, we do have a day to kill before we get our monies. Okay, scratch that. Buttercup is not the... Yana Peralt deserves better than this. She was so good in Jagged Little Pill. I didn't see it when it was on Broadway, but I heard very good things. And maybe there'll be something for me to beat up. Bubbles, totally. Blossom, evil recon mish. The sisters look to Blossom. She looks away, ashamed. I think I'm just gonna take a nap. Buttercup rolls her eyes. Bubbles takes a deep breath. Grew up in a small town. Buttercup, forget it, Bubs. Let her have her boring phone sex with her pasty boyfriend. Drake, girls, don't fight. How about Buttercup go with Bubbles and Blossom stays with me? We haven't had any QT since you got home. Blossom shuts her eyes, takes a deep breath. When she opens them, she sees young Blossom examining chemicals in the Beige. Young Blossom,
You too can split a Go-Gurt while he talks about himself the whole time, and you feel even more unseen.
Blossom eyes the Go-Gurt stain on Drake's shirt. Cut to interior, Blossom's rental car, day. Blossom drives, Buttercup's in front. Bubbles is in the back with Ace, examining Drake's stats on an iPad while Ace films. Bubbles.
Okay, so this potential evil lab Dad found is somewhere between Donut Thing and the volcano. Oh, that's interesting.
Buttercup. No, it's not. No one cares. Bubbles, explaining to the camera.
The Cano's owned by the Rowdy Rough Boys, 3 brothers who were a failed spin-off version of
Buttercup. Except they had no superpowers and they all got Lou Pearlman. Bubbles.
If the Rowdy Rough Boys had turned evil in hopes of rebooting their franchise and we stopped them, then maybe Townsville would want us back.
Blossom exhales deeply. I would too. Buttercup turns towards Bubbles. Bubba, let me tell you something. When we got outlawed by Townsville for accidentally killing a madman and then unceremoniously ditched by Blossom, I was pissed. Blossom shifts in her seat, guilty and annoyed at the dig. Why would you say that in person? But it forced me to reevaluate my life, and I realized how exhausted I was defending myself against misogynistic morons and pretending I was straight for the cameras. It was fun when it was about fighting baddies, but it changed. Blossom, mostly to herself. Yeah, it did. Bubbles, not really listening.
Do you guys think JoJo would do an interview for my doc?
Buttercup. You know, I don't think he would because of that whole we killed his dad thing.
Bloss, maybe you could ask for me?
I bet he's still obsessed with you. Blossom. He was never obsessed with me. Buttercup. Yeah, he was, and I bet he still is, but in a kinky, angry way. Ooh, that's a good space. Interior, the volcano, day. An American dive bar. Buttercup, Blossom, and Bubbles and Ace enter to find the volcano popping. This is the pros. A picture of the Rowdy Rough Boys, Brick, Boomer, and Butch, hang on the wall. Okay, so we are getting the Rowdy Rough Boys. Buttercup. Butch! Butch, now a super hot bartender. This is also in the pros. Gives Buttercup and Blossom big hugs. Butch gets to Bubbles and frowns, standoffish. Bubbles.
Where's my hug?
Butch.
Last time I saw you, you broke off our engagement and told me you'd pawn the ring picture.
I didn't even read the line ahead. I just instinctively did it in like the original cartoon voice. I'm sorry if nobody else finds this funny, but I find it funny. Oh, the script has officially broken me. Okay, so I'm assuming the Rowdy Rough Boys are all adults, hence the pros saying that he's a super hot bartender. So I'm gonna try to take this seriously. Adult voices. Last time I saw you, you broke off our engagement and told me you'd pawned the ring for drugs.
Was that you?
Buttercup elbows her. Have a drink with us? We're never here and we never will be again. Butch smiles, relents. Okay, one shot.
Bubbles. Oh, duels for me, please. Thank you.
Butch leaves to grab them drinks. Buttercup makes eyes with a hot girl across the bar. Macy. Blossom. Aren't we here to investigate? Buttercup. I'm here to pick up bi-curious townies. You're here to avoid Drake. Bubbles is here to investigate, but she forgot Butch hates her. Luckily, we're dealing with another hate boner, so alcohol helps. Blossom. Why do you know so much about hate boners? Buttercup. Life is one big hate boner. At a table, Blossom, Buttercup, and Bubbles throw back their shots. Remember my 15th birthday at that weird honky-tonk? Blossom. Bubbles peed herself. You threw Carrot Top out a window, and Sarah picked us up at 3 a.m. Never told Dad. I can't believe they used to have sex. Can you imagine Drake? I bet he's so mechanical. And weirdly precise. I bet he's generous. Blossom and Buttercup throw napkins and trash at Bubbles. No, filth, not okay! All the sisters crack up. By the bar, the sisters kick back another round of shots. Bubbles flirts with Butch, who's softened considerably. Bubbles nods to a door marked "Do Not Enter." What's in there? It's top secret. Like an evil laboratory? Butch laughs it off. Bubbles eyes the room, dying to get in. Other end of the bar. Blossom waits for a drink, watching a Bitmoji from Clive. Happy thoughts. Happy thoughts. Clive Bitmoji. Call me. Love you. Blossom smiles, puts her phone away, then notices young Blossom on a bar stool beside her, sucking down a Go-Gurt.
Whoa, you're not immediately calling him back. Is that because, dare I say, you're having fun?
Blossom takes in her surroundings, her sisters. She is having fun. As Blossom savors the moment, Corthers, off screen. Can I buy you a drink? Young Blossom disappears. Blossom turns to find Henrietta's neighbor, Corthers. Blossom smiles and tries to leave, but Corthers steps in front of her, gets in her face. I said, can I buy you a drink? Buttercup notices Corthers stepping up to Blossom, as Blossom clocks the faint yellow glint in his eyes. Buttercup, what's going on here? Corthers turns to Buttercup, then looks back at Blossom. Aren't you the Powerpuff Girls? Buttercup, Powerpuff. Oh, aren't you the Powder Puff Girls? That's a regular thing on the cartoon too, so I'll give that a pass. Aren't you the Powder Puff Girls? Powerpuff. No D, like you. Corthers grabs Buttercup's ear. Blossom's eyes go wide. Blossom, oh no. On Bubbles, making out with Butch against the wall, trying to inch her way closer to the Do Not Enter room, just as Corthers sails across the room, bursting through the Do Not Enter door. Bubbles peeks her head inside. It's a supply closet filled with storage and pesticides. Exterior, the volcano, night. Buttercup, Blossom, and Ace walk out. Butch physically carries out a flailing Bubbles.
Stop! I'm an American treasure!
Butch leaves. Bubbles hisses at him, turns to Buttercup.
Bubbles. Dude, not cool.
What? He was a creep! And Blossie was full deer in the headlights. Blossom. His eyes had a weird glint. I was trying to suss it out. What's there to suss out? His botched cataract surgery? Why do you keep coming at me? I get it, I screwed up. No, Bubbles screwed up, like constantly. You left. I'm sorry, okay? What more do you want from me? I want the old Blossom. Buttercup becomes emotional. Bubbles nods to Ace to film. Buttercup. You used to boss us around and have a perspective and care. You are our leader, and now you're this weak, closed-off, mopey loser? Blossom. You know what I think? I think I'm the only one here that actually grew up, and neither of you can handle it, because you're still beating people up in bars like you did when you were 15, and Bubbles is wearing knee socks on Hollywood Boulevard. Bubbles, stop filming! Buttercup charges Bubbles and Ace to try to get them to shut off the camera. Bubbles steps to her, protecting the camera. Buttercup, stop whoring out our lives! Bubbles, you guys bungled the investigation. Your dysfunction is all I have. As Bubbles and Buttercup circle each other, Blossom notices a Razor scooter charging station. Oh, emotional scene. Let's have some product placement. Across the street, Blossom grabs the iPad from the car, checks Drake's numbers. Blossom, hey guys. Bubbles' eyes go frosty as she drops into her ice breath mode. Buttercup, ice me and you're going in the dumpster. Guys! I think this is the unusual concentration of high-frequency technology Drake was talking about. Blossom points to the Razor scooters. Buttercup laughs. Oh my god, see, Bubs? He's a sad, lonely quack. Let's go. Buttercup heads to the car. Bubbles sighs, looks to Ace. Let's get some B-roll, I guess. Bubbles looks over Ace's shoulder as he films the charging station at the base of the apartment complex. 3 floors up, see a figure watching Bubbles and Ace from their window. Interior, Henrietta's lair, night. Reveal Henrietta watching them leave. Her evil lair is directly above the charging station and is the source of energy that Drake identified. Henrietta turns back inside, surprised to find Jojo sitting in an armchair.
Do you break into the homes of all the little girls you hire to do your evil bidding?
Jojo notices a woolly bear in his arm, flicks it off. Just the ones who've murdered their parents. Less red tape. How's progress?
You know, ups and downs.
Jojo eyes Henrietta, less than thrilled with her response. The Powerpuff Girls collect their trust fund in 12 hours. That's how long you have to put 3 of these little bugs in their brains so I can control their minds, make them throw a school bus of kids into a river,
and save the day, cementing your re-election. I know the playbook, Joj.
I thought that... Is this a misspelling? Or is she seriously calling him Joj?
I don't know anymore.
And I love it
aside of the saving the kids part. But I just sent my boy Corthers on a mission, and it was no bueno.
Reveal Corthers on Henrietta's couch, looking beat up. Henrietta, like scolding a dog.
The mission was trying to get a bug in Blossom's ear, but instead we started a fight with Buttercup. Didn't we? Didn't we?
I need to do more testing. You have 12 hours, or I make you eat every single one of these bugs, turn you into the FBI, and you become the youngest person to ever be executed in America. Got it? Henrietta's speechless, but clearly gets the message. Jojo heads to the door, tripping on a pair of shoes. He fears he looks stupid. He does. And so he calls out angrily behind, 12 hours! So he's like pathetic, maniacal villain. Okay. End of Act 2. Act 3. Oh my god, we're halfway through. I'm drinking water so I don't lose my voice, but at this point I feel like I deserve to be drinking something stronger. Alrighty, Act 3. Interior, Powerpuff Girls home, Drake's lab, day. Bubbles films Drake as they dig deeper into Drake's theory. I don't see how I could be wrong. The evidence doesn't lie. Blossom enters, quietly helping herself to a coffee. Blossom. No, but sometimes people do. Why would I lie about something like this? Because you want us to reunite, Dad, and you know that appealing to my sense of responsibility with this town in danger thing is the only way to get me on board.
Oh, speaking of dangerous, this crazy dude came for Blossom and Buttercup at the volcano. He had Scorpio energy. Chaotic. We got it on tape. Want to see?
We hear a loud bump upstairs. Blossom jumps, concerned. What was that? As Bubble pulls up the footage, Blossom silently exits. Drake watches her leave, turns to Bubbles. What did I do to drive her away?
Just now, or in a macro sense?
Bubbles, not a day goes by that I don't regret my greatest failure.
Japan is a tough market to crack.
I'm not talking about the brand, I mean the family. I never thought we'd fracture.
Look, we loved being Powerpuff Girls, but sometimes we wanted to be other things too. You know how in Dirty Dancing, Baby is like this big nerd who wants to join the Peace Corps? And then she meets Johnny and becomes a fancy slut, but her dad is like disappointed in her because he thinks she's not a nerd anymore. But the thing is, she's still a nerd. It's just that now she's a nerd and a fancy slut, and it's too non-binary for Jerry Orbach to grasp.
Drake ponders the metaphor with a look of remorse. Interior, Powerpuff Girls home, hallway, Buttercup's room, day. Blossom heads upstairs where the bumping sound continues from Buttercup's room, then abruptly stops. Blossom opens the door to find Buttercup in bed with Macy, the woman she eyed at the bar the night before. They've just finished. Blossom, oh god, I'm sorry. Buttercup, it's fine. To Macy, we're done, right?
I'd say 6 times. Macy, I'd say 6 times is enough.
Is Buttercup the hypersexual by... Yeah, I deserve something stronger. Blossom, 2 Bubbles and Drake. Guys, no. Oh, Bubbles and Drake enter on Blossom's heels. Bloom. Buttercup. It's fine. I'm not remotely ashamed. I'm just getting my life, people. And tonight, I finally get access to my trust and never have to come back to Clownsville again. Macy. What about me? Buttercup. You should come with me. 3-acre farm and chickens. Bubbles.
U-Haul.
Drake. Why are you acting like being here is torture? I didn't raise you like this. Buttercup. Exactly. You raised us to be a franchise, not a family. We don't know how to be together without a shot list and suggested dialogue. You know what the whole, all the references to merchandise remind me of? It's the one episode of Powerpuff Girls with the nerdy collector who's like collecting all the Powerpuff Girls merch, but like the Powerpuff Girls humiliate them by opening it all. What I mean to say is the Powerpuff Girls had better way better plot structure than any of this.
Bubbles. But remember how much fun we had when the camera was off?
Buttercup. When were they off?
See Ace filming from the hallway. Blossom rolls her eyes.
Blossom to Drake.
When you're a kid, the stakes are supposed to be low. A kid should be worried about losing their lunch money or being picked last in PE. A kid shouldn't be worried about cat burglars or giant lizards or accidentally farting on TRL. Bubbles. Carson handled that well.
Blossom. There was always something scary around the corner. It wasn't normal, and we never had space to process it. You said you created us because you always wanted to be a dad, so why not just make 3 little girls? Well, that would be kind of weird. Blossom shakes her head, frustrated with Drake's response. Macy exiting. I'm late for acro yoga. It's kind of like flying. Buttercup. Oh, that's fun. Call me. Blossom. I'm out of here too.
Bubbles. Right. You've spent a total of 10 minutes with us and you're already a ghost. Where are you going?
Blossom exiting. I need to talk to a human being who understands emotions. Drake offended. I am a known Homo sapien. See, sometimes Professor Utonium or Drake sounds like Professor Utonium, but then otherwise he sounds like it's frustrating because like there is some potential here, but like as soon as you like get into the weeds of the dialogue, it just exterior Cerebellum's house day. A charming bungalow. Blossom rings the doorbell. Cerebellum, now an attractive redhead in her 40s, answers the door. Sarah, delighted. Blossie, I didn't think you would actually come. Blossom. Hey, Sarah. Blossom meets Sarah for a hug. You still wear the same perfume. Blossom and Sarah in unison. Britney Spears, Circus Fantasy. Interior, Cerebellum's house, same. Blossom and Sarah sit in the cozy den, drink tea and catch up. Sarah's demeanor is warm. She's an earthy big sister type. You know, I was hoping to see all of you. Are my other bees just busy? Blossom. No, I just really needed to talk to someone one-on-one. When we're together, it's kind of like we're suddenly kids again, and it just gets emotional. Yeah, I get it. You girls had a gnarly childhood. I used to fight with your dad about how much was expected of you. You always stood up for us. It's why I replied to your texts and not his. Drake really does care deeply about you guys. He just didn't want you to hide your light. He thought pushing you was a form of love. Well, it didn't feel like it, and we were punished for his dream. Have you ever noticed that my dad just got to continue living here in peace as a beloved eccentric after we were drummed out of town? He lives here, but not in peace. I think he has a lot of regrets about how things went down. He's not a bad guy, Bloss. He can be enraging and oblivious. Trust me, I dated the man for 5 years. But he has a good heart. It kind of sounds like you still love him. Sarah blushes and scoffs as the tea kettle goes off. Sarah gets up to turn it off as Blossom looks at her phone. Thinks, then starts typing a text. Interior, Powerpuff Girls home, kitchen, day. Bubbles and Drake sit at the kitchen table, still reviewing footage. They both wear sheet masks and are both flustered. Okay, maybe everyone's internet works, but they are hallucinating that it doesn't because something is in the water. Or like, Drake solemn. Aliens? Wait. On the footage, Bubbles spots Henrietta at the window. It's the same little girl we met in front of the house. Coincidence? Maybe we should look into her. She's like 10. So were you. Back when many a villain made the mistake of underestimating my girls. Drake's phone buzzes with a text. It's from Blossom. Very surprised, Drake opens it, then smiles. Your sister texted me. She said if we're still investigating, to look out for the barfly's yellow eyes. Look at that! Progress! Drake smiles, so touched by Blossom's gesture. Maybe I can come back from this after all. You know, once I get my money today, we can use part of my cut to go deeper with our investigation. This city needs a Powerpuff Girl. And you know, post-rehab, I've always wanted to go solo. Timberlake solo. Drake looks guilty at the mention of the money. Right. I have to rinse. Gotta look fresh for the trust fund meeting. Bubbles skips out. Drake keeps looking at the Henrietta footage. Her face is stormy, mysterious. possibly evil. Oh, the prose is honestly, even though some of the dialogue is really bad, like, so the prose is honestly worse. Interior, Henrietta's lair, day. Henrietta, surrounded by empties of monster energy, builds more woolly bears. Jojo bursts in, impatient. Time's up, Henny. Henny.
They're not ready.
I don't care. Show me what you've got, the main event. Henrietta pulls out a box and opens the lid, revealing 3 special woolly bears. 1 blue, 1 pink, 1 green.
These are designed specifically to target them and set their minds. Blue for
Yeah, got it. Jojo snatches the bugs from Henrietta, opens the window, and lets the woolly bears crawl out. Interior, Powerpuff Girls' home, Bubbles' bathroom, day. An upbeat Bubbles gets ready. Makeup and accessories are scattered all over the vanity. The blue woolly bear appears on her windowsill. Bubbles pulls on a blue beanie that covers her ears and has holes for her pigtails to emerge. That's cute. Ski bunny mood. The woolly bear looks perplexed. Exterior, Powerpuff Girls' home, driveway, same. As Blossom approaches the home, she notices the pink woolly bear crawling up her arm. She frowns, picks it off, and places it on a leaf. The woolly bear falls off the leaf and into a puddle where it short circuits. Interior, Powerpuff Girls' home, kitchen, same. Buttercup is about to take a sip of black coffee when she sees the green woolly bear coiled around the cup. She yelps, flicks it down the drain, and turns on the garbage disposal. Interior, Powerpuff Girls' home, living room, day. Bubbles, Blossom, and Buttercup sit on the couch across from an attorney, Larry, as Drake stands anxiously in the corner. Larry is a typical cheap TV lawyer type. He organizes papers from a briefcase. Ace films. Everyone sits in silence. Buttercup. Haven't I seen you on a bus bench? Larry. I suppose we're both famous. Looking through the papers. So, we're looking at about 5 apiece, right, Drake? Drake watches the girls. Bubbles pulls her beanie up from her ears, hoping she heard correctly. We see the blue woolly bear crawling along the couch, headed for Bubbles' ear canal. Bubbles.
5 million?
Buttercup. No way. 500,000. I mean, that feels low, but 5,000. Bubbles, come again.
I'm sorry, what?
Drake. Look, this isn't easy for me to say. I saw how hard you girls worked, how brave you were in all those battles. I wanted to maximize your earnings, so I made some investments. Buttercup. What did you invest in, Dad? Drake. Well, some real estate. In 2008, and then, fidget spinners. Have you guys heard of Cronuts? Blossom. The money's gone? And you knew about it. Why did you make us come out here? Because I miss you, and I love you. Oh, no. Bubbles. So the evil lab thing was a lie. Drake. No, I truly believe disaster is imminent. Buttercup. You are mentally ill. This is why I don't call or visit. She picks up a vase. Drake instinctively ducks and cowers. I'm sorry, Buttercup. Buttercup hauls off with the vase as if to throw it when a chair crashes through the window. Reveal Bubbles. Hulk-level furious is the one who threw the chair. Bubbles. What about me? As she angrily gesticulates, she unwittingly flings off the woolly bear. Larry drops the briefcase and runs. The woolly bear heads for Bubbles again, crawling up her leg. I love, because at first I was like, okay, like, the woolly bear already got inside her ear, but this is just like, because like Bubbles has had outbursts in the cartoon too, and they're always like the best thing. I don't know if this adaptation can live up to that, but we'll see. Bubbles.
I'm the only one who ever put family on the team first, no matter what. Powerpuffs forever, right? I always believed in you and defended you. I guess I'm the idiot you always thought I was.
Blossom, we don't think that.
I'm out of here. It's relapse time.
Yeah, this can't live up to the cartoon. The cartoon was way better. Like, when Bubbles had an outburst, like, it was earned. Drake tries to stop Bubbles as she heads for the jagged hole where the window used to be. Drake puts his hand on her arm. Sweetie. And the woolly bear crawls from Bubbles onto Drake and into his ear. Bubbles flies out the window, a blue streak in the sky. Buttercup glares at Drake and flies after her. Blossom. You were supposed to protect us, and you never did. Not now, not ever. And because of that, I killed Mojo, and it ruined my life. Wasn't it bad enough that you stole our pasts from us? Now we don't even have futures. Then angrily. Do you even care?
Drake is silent. He has a strange yellow glint in his eye. He isn't there anymore, but Blossom doesn't notice it. Cool, got it. I never want to see you again. She exits as we end Act 3. Act 4. Interior jail day. A close-up on a man's mouth. Officer. Bubbles Utonium? On Bubbles in a holding cell. She opens her bloodshot eyes, plastered with sleep. She sits up, looking rough. Reveal Ace beside an officer outside the cell. He gives Bubbles a brief, compassionate wave. Bubbles stumbles towards him. As they walk down the hallway, Bubbles vomits. Ace pats her back. Ace. I got a great shot of you freeing all those snakes from the zoo. Bubbles. They were legless lizards, Ace. Spits out the last bit. Not that it matters. Ew. Interior Powerpuff Girls house, kitchen, day. Blossom finishes her coffee. Sets the cup by the sink. Stay in the kitchen to reveal a mangled green woolly bear, the one Buttercup disposed earlier, crawled out of the sink. Interior Powerpuff Girls house, entryway, day. So, like this has even, like, more major problems compared to just this, but, like, if Blossom's one short-circuited from water, how can the one who both, like, got put down the sink disposal and grinded up still be alive? I imagine, like, it would also be exposed to moisture. This script's got bigger problems than that, but I still wanted to point it out. Interior Powerpuff Girls house, entryway, day. Blossom opens the front door when she hears a phone ring. She stops, looks inside, at the red phone. But wasn't it unplugged? Blossom walks over to it as it stops ringing. Confused, Blossom goes upstairs, passing by the green woolly bear, now crawling up the banister. Interior Buttercup's room, day. Blossom tiptoes to Buttercup's side of the bed. Macy's asleep. Buttercup's Googling backpacking trips on her phone. Blossom. Did you hear a phone ring? Buttercup. Yeah, it was the house line. How far do you think $5,000 can get me? Buttercup speaking as she types. Direct flights to Peru. I know it's stupid, but I can't stop thinking about that creepy guy in the bar. Those yellow eyes. He probably has liver disease. Then, reading Blossom. Look, this spidey sense you're feeling right now, it's the part of you that would like to believe there's evil in town, because that means maybe Dad's not a pathological liar. But you know, Occam's razor. Bubbles enters in sunglasses. Buttercup covers her nose as the green woolly bear crawls along Buttercup's wall toward her bed. Bubbles acknowledging, Yeah, I stink. Thank you for your compassion. I'm going back to LA now. I'll FaceTime you at Christmas if I'm still alive. Clothes on, the woolly bear crawling into an ear canal. Oh no, did it finally get Buttercup? Pull back to reveal... Macy springing out of bed, possessed. She grabs the bedside table lamp and smashes it onto Buttercup's head, then turns towards Blossom, flashing her yellow eyes. Okay, so they're, like, literally color-coded to, like, target the specific girls, but, like, they both go into, like, the wrong people. Like, don't you think there's some kind of, like, homing beacon, like, DNA recognition technology? I don't know. If, like, they can already find her. Like I said, script's already got bigger problems. She grabs the bedside table lamp and smashes on Buttercup's head, then turns towards Blossom, flashing her yellow eyes. Blossom. Oh my god! Yellow eyes! Macy throws down the bookcase. Bubbles attacks her, but Macy manages to duck and throw Bubbles smack into a wall. Bubbles tries to shake off the blow as Macy lifts up a bedside table, about to smash it over Bubbles' head. When Buttercup kicks Macy's legs out from under her, Macy falls, hitting her head on a desk chair and causing the green woolly bear to fly out of her ear. Macy groans. The girls stare at the green woolly bear in awe. Interior Powerpuff Girls home, Drake's lab, day. The girls examine the woolly bear under a microscope. Blossom dissects it, revealing its wiring and a square metal chip. Bubbles. Whoa, it's a robot? Magic. Blossom. It's an AI chipset. The furry hairs on the outside are actually nanofibers, intended to latch onto something. I'm guessing a brain? Buttercup. How do you know all that? I have a PhD in biotech. They clearly didn't know. Really? You guys don't know that? Buttercup. Psh, of course I knew. Bubbles. Biotech. Duh. Nerd alert. Blossom. Anyway, I think someone engineered these things for mind control. The guy at the bar, Macy, that's why their eyes had that weird yellow glint. They were possessed. Then realizing, Dad was right. Evil is back in Townsville. Bubbles is stunned. Buttercup is still a little skeptical. So someone puts this thing in Macy to get her to what? Attack us? Because that's a bunk plan. Yes, it is.
I don't know. This thing looks pretty damaged. Maybe it's misfired. Dad and I were working on a theory. Buttercup, do you remember that girl we met outside the house? Our biggest fan? Buttercup, realizing. The one with the pet caterpillar. Yeah, that was shady. And we spotted her in my dog footage outside the Camo, watching us. Buttercup, really hitting her. I can't believe this. I really thought Drake made it all up. Like the mom who poisoned her kid for Disney tickets. So crazy. Like, think bigger. Suddenly, all three girls get Google alerts on their phone. Are you seeing this?
What the?
Blossom turns on the TV. A breaking news banner heads. Townsville erupts into riots, chaos. A newscaster reports. The riots started moments ago, the cause of which are still unknown. The girls are in shock as they watch news footage of citizens destroying Townsville. Match that footage too. Interior, mayor's office, continuous. The TV is on. Jojo looks in the mirror, deciding between two ties, red or blue. Henrietta, surrounded by her woolly bear creations, opens the window.
Just so I'm clear, now we're gonna loose your woolly bears onto Townsville, let them crawl into people's brains, then turn their aggro meter up to 10.
Exactly. We need a new plan after your idiot worms incepted the wrong Utonium.
Then what happens?
I blame the entire thing on Drake. He confesses via Woolly Bear that he's drunk with power. Blah, blah, blah. I arrest him, save the day, and Townsville re-elects the mayor. A fun bonus, Drake rots in prison, and maybe I get to console Blossom. With that, Jojo picks the red tie. Henrietta sadly watches her Woolly Bears leave the office out the window en masse.
Goodbye, Karen, Jared, Eric, Melania, Donald, Rudy Giuliani, Ted.
Interior Utonium house, living room, continuous. Like I said, the JoJo character reminds me of Maxwell Lord. There's a Trump reference. I imagine now JoJo is also a Trump reference. Hey! Interior Utonium home, living room, continuous. The girls keep watching TV as the news switches to a press conference. The banner below. Townsville erupts in chaos, mind-controlling robots. Mayor Mondale speaks. Citizens, under the control of these malicious robots, are being forced to act violently toward each other with no end in sight. We believe this is the work of an evil mastermind, Professor Drake Utonium.
What?
On TV, news footage of Drake on a rooftop screaming, "Burn Townsville! All must pay!" If you're looking for it, you can see his yellow eyes. Someone setting him up. He needs us, now. Off Blossom, overwhelmed and terrified by this call to duty. End of Act 4, Act 5. Oh, thank God, we're almost done. Exterior, Townsville streets, various day. The Powerpuff Girls drive toward town as in the white Puffmobile Sprinter van. Buttercup drives. Blossom in front, Bubbles in back. They pull up to the city center. Buttercup, I can't believe we didn't fly. Blossom, I'm sorry, you know I can't get on a plane without a Xanax. But you can literally fly. Can't handle this. Let's sidebar this. Yeah, like Blossom flew in a plane even though she could literally fly earlier they all flew in a plane. Yeah, they all flew in a plane because they meet at the airport. Well, you gotta have the Spirit Airlines product placement. They get out of the car. We see anarchy in the streets. Cars on fire, fights breaking out.
They're all possessed. This is like the gathering of the Juggalos.
You've been?
Bubbles haughtily. I was paid to appear.
Blossom, we need to get to Dad. The girls keep taking it in. People are fighting, shouting, and destroying property. Fire hydrants have been opened, and there's water all over the streets. Nearby, Henrietta, unnoticed by the Powerpuff Girls, strolls through the insanity she's helped create. She spots the girls and picks on her phone, ducking into an alley. Interior alley day.
Okay, they're here. You might want to make that arrest.
Crosscut phone call. Interior mayor's office day. Jojo is on the phone, exhilarated. All of them? Even Blossom?
Yep. You'll get to see them kick and scream as their dad gets hauled off to jail. Just like you put on your vision board. Which you should never show anyone, by the way. The gold Lambo is cringe.
This is also cringe. Jojo smiles, taking in the moment. When his pet monkey screeches, Jojo frowns, his mood darkening. No, it's not enough. I can't squander this opportunity.
What do you want me to do, Jojo?
I want them to know how it feels to watch their father die. New plan. Interior, Townsville City Center, same. The Powerpuff Girls head for Drake. On their way there, they cannot help but notice the mayhem. Bubbles stops.
Guys, wait. What about all these people? They need us.
Blossom looks around, conflicted. Buttercup keeps moving, and turns when she sees Blossom and Bubbles haven't moved. Come on! Saving Dad's life, I get, but playing superhero again? Buttercup gestures to the fighting and runs around them. And fighting and ruin around them. These are the same normos that kicked us out here a decade ago. Why would we help them? Blossom sighs, conflicted. Bubbles sees her wavering.
Blossom, you were the one who always said we should help people no matter what, remember? You had the biggest, bravest heart of all three of us. That's why you were the leader.
Blossom, I was the leader because Dad said so. That's not true. I was designed to be in charge. But your annoying type A ass claimed that role, has to admit. And you owned it.
Guys, I know everyone has here rejected us for semi-misogynistic reasons, but Townsville is our home, and it's getting destroyed. We have to save it, and Dad, to Buttercup. This is our chance to show them that they were wrong about us.
Buttercup looks around, taking it in. Look, I hate this town. I'm 50-50 on Drake, but I've got a hard-on for mayhem that won't go down. I'm in. Bubbles smiles, looks up to Blossom. She's shaking. No, I have done too much work in therapy to go there. I'm a grown woman now. I have degrees and a boyfriend and furniture from West Elm. I'm not a Powerpuff Girl. Blossom starts to have a panic attack, then runs off. Bubbles is about to take off after Blossom. Buttercup stopping her. We have to move on.
But Bloss!
We'll do it for her, okay? It's what she wants, even if she can't say it. She was always our conscience. And I was just the attention whore. Buttercup. Hey, you were amazing. Bubbles nods, touched. They take off in the other direction. It's a very poor attempt at a touching moment. Exterior Townsville, sky overhead moments later. Possessed Drake is still standing on the rooftop. Bubbles and Buttercup observe from a safe different distance. Okay, so when Macy hit her head, it drove the woolly bear out of her. We need to do something like that, but on a mass scale, without, killing people, right? Bubbles looks around. Her eyes land on a spa with an advertisement for laser hair removal. Her eyes light up.
Electrolysis.
Buttercup, frustrated. I know you don't get the all-natural thing, but now is not the time. Bubbles flies to a telephone pole and rips a wire out of the pole, exposing its frayed end. Buttercup smiles, getting it. Oh, sick! We're gonna fry them?
No, we're going to lightly shock them. Enough to drive the bugs out, but not enough to kill them. Look, they're all standing in water. Help me grab the pole.
They fly over to a telephone pole and begin to uproot it. Interior alley, same. Blossom sits beside a dumpster doing breathing exercises. She closes her eyes and opens them, revealing young Blossom.
Hey, why are you hiding? Bubbles and Buttercup need your help.
Blossom, I don't know how to help. I can't do this. I just want a normal life.
No one has a normal life. Everybody has a superpower, and everyone has to decide how they're going to use it.
I can't be the hero they want me to be.
So be the hero you want to be. Do it for you. On your terms. Now it's time to take a chance, make a change,
and break away. Young Blossom disappears. Suddenly the ground trembles. I know Chloe Bennett is Asian, but that was the whitest scene I have ever read. Young Blossom disappears. Suddenly the ground trembles. Interior Townsville City Center, same. Buttercup and Bubbles hold the telephone bowl above the crowd. Buttercup, just touch it to the water and the shock will spread. They lower the pole gingerly. A jolt of electricity surges through the teeming mass standing in the flooded streets. People are knocked out. Then suddenly, look! Woolly bears are crawling out and jumping out of people's ears. Bubbles and Buttercup are stoked, but then,
hello, Powerpuffs.
Reveal Henrietta on the roof of the building with Drake. The sisters are midair, holding the pole aloft.
I have complete and total power over him.
To Drake.
Right, Professor Quacktonium?
Drake nods numbly.
I knew you were a fake fan. Nobody's favorite is Blossom.
Look, I don't know what you want with our dad, but please, let's talk this out, girl to girl.
You're not a girl. You're a boring grown-up who used to be cool. Hang it up and start a book club.
Yeah, this really should just be Princess Morbox. This dialogue would make much more sense for Princess Morbox. Bubbles lets go of the pole, ready to save Drake, but with the electric current, it's too much for Buttercup alone. Bubbles! Bubbles sees Buttercup needs her and helps her with the pole before it crashes to the ground, but the sisters are stuck. We can't drop the pole. It'll kill them all.
Let's go for a walk.
Drake obediently walks off the edge of the building and falls off. Bubbles and Buttercup are helpless, holding the pole, screaming, end of Act 5, Act 6. Interior Townsville day.
Drake plummets towards the ground. Buttercup screams. Bubbles watches in terror as Drake falls. Daddy! Drake drops faster and faster, 30 feet away from the ground, then 20, then 10, when Blossom cuts through the air and scoops him up. That's my bitch right there. Luckily, like the dialogue, even some of the Professor Utonium dialogue at the beginning was questionable. And at first, like, the Buttercup dialogue wasn't questionably AAVE. Now it's starting to skew a little more into the danger zone. Interior mayor's office continuous. Jojo watches from his window, furious. No, no, no! Back in the air, Blossom soaks up her hero moment. Sorry I'm late, Dad, but I had to make peace with an old... Drake slaps and scratches at Blossom, still possessed. Stop! Stop! Ow! You are so annoying! Blossom lands on the street with Drake, his fists flying. Blossom punches him in the face. His woolly bear flies out of his ear. Blossom stomps on it as Drake moans on the ground. That was surprisingly cathartic. Townsville City Center. Bubbles is stomping out all the woolly bears on the street when Blossom lands beside her. Bubbles gives her a huge hug. Blossie, you saved the day! Henrietta off screen. My babies! My poor babies! Blossom and Bubbles turn to find Henrietta crouched in a puddle, mourning her woolly bears. Bubbles tauntingly stomps one out in front of her. Oops! Henrietta smiles menacingly, slowly standing up. Woolly bears, mount up! The busted woolly bears start to rise up and crawl towards Henrietta. Oh my god, is this gonna be like a Power Rangers, like, giant monster moment? That would make this all worth it. Crawl towards Henrietta, she cackles menacingly, when suddenly, Henrietta is electrocuted and flies into a building, hard. Reveal Buttercup with a live wire behind her. Aww. That's clearly what they were hinting at, though. I appreciate at least the attempt. But way too much. The sisters hover around Henrietta's lifeless body. Oh no, did we just kill a kid? I mean, you killed her. Sometimes you have to kill the child within in order to... No, this is really bad. Then Henrietta starts coughing. Buttercup's eyes light up. Not dead! Buttercup and Bubbles high five. Then they hear cheering. They turn to discover a massive crowd cheering for them. The sisters soak it up, feeling like real heroes again. Exterior Drake's house day. Newscaster off screen. In a sweeping reversal of fate, the Powerpuff Girls are beloved again in Townsville. A super bloom surrounds the Utonium home. Townsville residents swing by, leaving gifts. A huge sign is hung across the front lawn. Thank you, Powerpuff Girls. Interior Drake's home. Blossom's bedroom day. On the TV. Newscaster. The town is pleading for the girls to return permanently, but the sisters have yet to comment. Pan from the TV to Blossom standing by the window. She admires signs outside as she listens, watches a Bitmoji. Is this another product placement? This is another product placement. Clive Bitmoji. Look, I get it. It's a cool opportunity. I just love our life together. I don't want to ask you to turn it down, but I hope you do. Sorry, doing this thing on Bitmoji was a stupid idea. Love you. Blossom sighs, then notices something outside. Exterior, Drake's house day. Blossom opens the front door as someone walks away. Jojo? Jojo turns, smiles shyly at Blossom. Wow, I'm really losing it. Jojo. Hey, I was just leaving you guys a little token of appreciation. Inside, Buttercup looks out the window, watching them. Bubba, come here. Bubbles joins her at the window. What? Whoa. Intercut with, Blossom picks up Jojo's gift. It's an action figure of her, the one we saw Jojo holding in the teaser. Wow, where'd you get this? I actually bought it behind my dad's back when I was a kid. I had to hide it on my bed, like porn. Not because I did anything creepy with it, just because he hated you. Oh, God. Jojo is an incel, confirmed. Oh my God, this is brutal. Blossom. No, yeah, I got that. I remember. I'm still so sorry, Jojo. It was an accident. Speaking of, I'm sorry about falsely accusing your dad of mass terrorism. Yeah, real egg on your face, huh? Little bit, yeah. Well, I guess we're even then. I mean, we're not even. No, we're close. I just mean, don't worry. Bubbles. Is she flirting? Girl. You think you guys are gonna stay? I don't know. We need to talk it out. Well, I hope you do. Jojo starts to walk away. Jojo, why don't you hate me? Jojo smiles, shrugs. It's not for lack of trying. Night. Blossom watches Jojo go, oddly drawn to him, of course. Buttercup. Classic hate boner. Interior Utonium house dining room night. The sisters talk over each other at dinner, telling Drake a story. Their energy is magnetic and warm, like old times. Oh my god, I'm losing my voice. Buttercup. So Dad, I come up behind her and zap her. She flies like 20 feet and splats into a wall. And then she starts freaking out like, we totally killed a kid! All of them crack up. Drake slaps his knee. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Good thing they caught her. You know she murdered her parents. Really? Good goss. Really? Good goss.
So, have you girls thought about whether or not you want to stay in Townsville? The girls look at each other, quiet. Blossom's about to speak when Drake cuts her off. Before you answer, I just want to say, I know you are individuals with full lives and aspirations, boyfriends, and roots you've put down, and solo careers. So if picking up your old mantle doesn't feel like your life anymore, I want you to honor that. The girls are shocked by Drake's uncharacteristic clarity. You sure you got that bug out? For your information, I saw Sarah today, and she gave me some very good advice.
You know she still has a crush on you, right?
It's really more of a hate boner. Now you've got it. We'll discuss Sarah later. For now, you girls need to decide what you want to do. If you need me, I'll be in my lab. Drake leaves a beat. Buttercup. Okay, moment of truth. We in or we out? They share nervous glances. Blossom, the most conflicted. Bubbles starts singing Kelly Clarkson again. Buttercup smiles, joining in, dreaming what it could be, infinite Wait, is that Kelly Clarkson or Hillary My brain has officially stopped functioning. They both stop singing and look at Blossom. Is she in or is she in or not? Blossom looks pained, shakes her head. Buttercup and Bubbles share a disappointed nod, a silent beat. Then, Blossom belting it, baby. Buttercup, it was a fake out! Bubbles, what a slut! Buttercup and Bubbles are thrilled. They join in singing in each other's faces, visceral, a complete return to childhood. And they keep singing, break away. You know what, I even like that song, but I still won't sing it for this script. Interior, Powerpuff goes home, Drake's lab, continuous. Drake hears the girls singing upstairs and smiles. He peers down into a microscope, examining a defunct woolly bear robot. But he's doing more than just examine it. He's repairing it. The bot wriggles back to life and Drake smiles. He walks to a cabinet, revealing a hidden door. He opens it, walks inside. Drake's secret lair. Lights flicker on as Drake places the bot into a glass cage, surrounded by other mysterious experiments and specimens, as in cameos / Easter eggs from the Better show. As he exits the lab, he looks at a picture on the wall, a black and white photo of himself with Bubbles, Buttercup, and Blossom as babies. He looks at his girls, guilt-ridden. Interior, Utonium house, night. Close on the 2000s action figure of Blossom as the girls continue to scream, sing, and dance in the background. Attached to Interior Mayor's office, night. A camera feed that JoJo watches. The action figure has a secret camera inside. A scowl on his face. His pet monkey watches the feed beside him, eating a banana. I'll find another way to win re-election. We took them out once. We can do it again, right, Dad? The monkey jumps up and down, screeching in further as we cut to black. Okay, so he is a monkey! Yay! Yay! That's a... I mean, I guess he's not, like, the main bad guy, so, like, the special effects budget isn't, like, stretched by having to have him in pretty much every episode. But yeah, oh my god! I really, like, in hindsight, I probably should have... Oh my god, my phone is telling me my camera's dying! Or my phone is dying, rather, but... In hindsight, I probably should have filmed this over multiple days, but I also feel like my tiredness really emphasizes how I feel about this script. Yeah, take a year to retool this. Like, please do. Like, I'm very glad that, like, whatever it is I was filming this that was announced. Oh my god, yeah. It's entertaining in parts, but there's just, oh my god, there's just so much wrong with it, from the story, the dialogue, the composition, the faithfulness to the original show. Like, Powerpuff Girls has already been done dirty once with the 2016 reboot. Like, it did not need this on top of that. But, you know, like, I guess they're just gonna remake everything from my childhood. Do worse than nothing with it. So, like, I know, I hate to, like, leave off this review just being just tired and angry. But yeah, wow. I don't know what else to say, like, to lift up this video in any other way. Thank you so much if you've made it this far. I'm gonna take off my makeup, take a nap, and start editing this. Oh my god, I'm like, thank god I don't have work tomorrow. I will see you next time.